Hi guys, Victoria Paxton here. Thanks for stopping back by my YouTube channel. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Janice Pockett. I'm unfortunately going to have to read a lot, which I hate, but such is life. So Janice Pockett was born in 1965. She left her home in Tallinn, Connecticut on July 26th of 1973. On her bicycle to find a butterfly. She had apparently found a butterfly the day before and she put it like on this rock. So she was going down to get the butterfly. She took an envelope with her so that she could put the butterfly in it and safely transport it back. She was never seen again. So the police pretty quickly thought that she had to have been abducted. They thought that was what happened, like right away. For some reason, they think that she was on her way back. Like she had gotten the butterfly and she was on her way back. I'm not sure why they thought that, but okay. So pretty early on, investigators believed that a guy by the name of Nathaniel Bar-Jonah, that he may have somehow been involved in her case. He was 14 years old at the time. Okay, so then steps another guy, Charles Pierce, and he comes forward and says that he murdered Janice and he buried her body in Lawrence, Massachusetts. That grave was never found. So I guess this Charles Pierce guy said that not only did he bury her there in Massachusetts, but apparently her grave was supposedly really close to a boy that he had killed and buried there. You know, and I just have to say this. Why do these sick people crawl out of the woodwork and say that they killed these people when they really didn't? I mean, we're going to get to that, to Charles Pierce, but I'm just saying in cases in general. Why on earth would you want to be known for killing someone? Like, crazy ass people. Ugh. So he claimed that the little boy that he buried, that the little boy had died 3 years after Janice had disappeared. They never found either grave. So another twist in Janice's case came in the year 2000 when bone fragments of a child, of course, they're out mowing today. Whenever I need to record, they're flipping out there mowing all morning. Can you please go away and mow some other time? Sorry. I correct myself. Okay. So they discovered bone fragments in that first guy, Nathaniel Bar-Jonah's garage. He was charged with the 1996 abduction and presumed murder of Zachary Ramsey in Great Falls, Montana. Later, they dismissed the charges because there wasn't enough evidence. So there we go. Isn't that just wonderful? So now you have this psycho named Nathaniel Bar-Jonah wandering around. So Janice's name came up in connection with Nathaniel Bar-Jonah. When his criminal past came to light, he had served a prison sentence for the abduction and attempted murder of 2 boys in Massachusetts in 1977. God, this guy's a psycho. And I do want to say for the record, the boy that they had said that Bar-Jonah had abducted and killed, that he got off in 1996, the little boy Zachary Ramsey, I felt right away, that he was gone, unfortunately. Okay, so I guess investigators realized that Bar-Jonah had lived in Webster, Massachusetts back in '73 when little Janice went missing. Webster's 20 minutes away from Tallinn, Connecticut, where she went missing. He would have been 14 years old, and he had already strangled a little playmate of his at this time. Gotta kind of wonder, and I know it's not the parents' fault when these psychotic people break, but it just makes me wonder, what kind of childhood he had. To be so aggressive that at 14 years old, he had already strangled a kid. So damn sad. So there were additional claims that Nathaniel Bar-Jonah was involved in cannibalism. He was found guilty of 2 unrelated counts of child molestation in Montana in February of 2002. So this puts literally like his entire life from the time he was 14, and who knows, it could have been, you know, he could have started when he was 7 or 8 years old, like, you know, killing animals and crap. But all those years, this SOB got away with hurting all these people, all these kids. Like, so Nathaniel Bar-Jonah's real name was David Brown. He claimed, you know, oh, I'm innocent of all the charges. Okay, look, you might be innocent of one charge, but when you have, you know, multiple charges throughout your entire life, hello, come on. So they also investigated him, thinking that he might have been involved in the 1997 case in Wyoming of a girl named Amanda Gallion. Yeah, and I feel like she's gone too, definitely. Okay, she was classified as a runaway, but her social security number hadn't been used since 1997. There's suspicion that she met with foul play. Yeah, I feel that, definitely. But the bizarre thing is, I don't feel like Nathaniel Bar-Jonah was responsible for it. That's one he didn't do. Ooh, good for him. A handwritten list of names entitled Lake Webster was discovered in Bar-Jonah's possession in December 2001. Some news reports stated that Andrew Amato was among the children featured in the list, but this is untrue. Andrew disappeared from Webster, Mass. in 1978. No one's been able to tie him to Bar-Jonah. Wow. I beg to differ with them. I kind of feel like he was involved in that. That's one that I definitely feel like he was involved in. Okay, so fast forward back to 2001, DNA testing on the bones that were located in Bar-Jonah's garage in 2001 didn't match Zachary, Janice, or Amanda. So what does that tell you? Another couple of children were killed by this psycho. Okay, so this psycho, Nathaniel Bar-Jonah, died from a blood clot. Good riddance. While he was in a Montana prison in April 2008 at the age of 51. See ya, we definitely aren't missing you. Sorry, but we're just not missing you. Prior to me trying to connect with Janice. Okay. Are you ready for this? I didn't realize I was running into my notes about connecting. Okay, so I was trying to connect with Janice, and I had this man coming through. And he said his name was David, and I was like, okay. And I kind of was just sitting there like waiting, like, hi, David, you know, what can I do for you? You know, cheers. Got my sugar-free iced tea, baby. Okay. So I have to read this to get it right because I had to write it down to get the exact quote. Guy's coming through. I'm trying to connect with little Janice, and he kept trying to come through. He said his name was David, and I was like, yeah, okay, what can I do for you? And he said, and I quote, he smirked and said, I'm the guy that took Janice's virginity and finished her off. Close quote. That's what this POS said to me. So immediately I was on guard because, in fact, hang on, let me light this real quick because I don't have any sage in here. Yeah, I don't like talking about sickos like this. And that, people, that's just incense because I don't have any sage in here right now. So I need to yeah. So, you know, when I deal with someone like this, for example, sorry guys, I'm messing with my hair. Ha ha ha. Nothing you can do about it either. Ha ha. Sorry. I'm in a pissy mood today. as a psychic, when I'm dealing with someone like this, like I have to protect myself because unfortunately people like him, Charlie Manson, Jeffrey, the E word, I'm not saying his full name, I don't want to acknowledge him, but when they come through and they're demented and sick and twisted like this, I have to like kind of protect myself. So speak of the devil, he's literally trying to come through again. Yeah, I just need to shut him out. Okay. So he was continuing to linger when I was trying to connect with Janice, this Nathaniel Bar-Jonah, David Brown dude. And I asked him, I said, after that sick comment, I said, did you do this to any other little girls? Like, did you finish off any other little girls? And he said, yeah, I did it to 2 other girls. I even did it to a few boys. Like, and when I say it, he was more like, yeah, you know, like, look at me, like bragging. Dude, you're in hell. Why on earth would you be bragging about? I mean, he's just sick, twisted. So I went on and I said, look, why don't you just tell me where you buried Janice and these other little girls and these other little boys, you know, so their family can have some sort of closure. I said, you know, you have nothing to lose by telling me where they are, to where, you know, can actually do something right for a change. I said, you know, you're a pretty screwed up individual when you were alive. The least you can do is try to do something decent in death. And of course I should have known better because, you know, he obviously was an arrogant a-hole. So he said, just like that, what's in it for me? And at that point, I was like, yeah, no, I'll tell you what's in it for you. You can just stay in hell for the rest of your life. And I just shut him out as quick as I could. And I was done with him. Unfortunately, when that happens, though, it's like when I deal with spirits of kids and when I deal with a-holes like him, it like really takes it out of me. Like it, you know, it really just drains me. And the only way I can, because I had somebody emailed me and we were talking about a case, and anyway, this person said, when you say that it like wears you out or takes it out of you, what exactly do you mean? And I said, okay, so, you know, when you've had like the flu and you're coughing and it's hard to breathe and you cough all night to where you can't sleep and then your ribs are sore from coughing. And then if you have to get up to do the slightest thing, like if you have to get up to walk to the kitchen to get water or to get cough medicine, or if you have to walk to the bathroom, like you just literally feel like you're, you know, it's all you can do to like continue to walk. That's kind of what it's like. It's like I'm walking on a straight up vertical incline, but I have no energy. Like it's just takes everything. It like takes the life out of me. Not to mention like it's emotionally draining. I mean, you know, especially with the bad guys, like it's just exhausting and draining. And I feel it like every part of my body feels like I just feel like I can't go on. Like it's so exhausting, you know? So like, for example, like if I were to connect with the JE dude, which we don't need to talk about, but my best bet would be to do it like at the end of the day, right before I'm going to sleep, so that if, you know, when it takes it out of me, okay, I don't have to accomplish anything else today. Yeah. So that's just, sorry, I'm blabbing on. Okay. This was a tough one, you guys. So no sooner did I get rid of that a-hole, right? The Bar-Jonah dude, David Brown dude. I had another man coming through. And the second that I saw him, I felt it. I felt that like negativity and exhaustion and like bad energy. And I was like, what can I do for you? You know? He went on to say his name was Charles Pierce. he wasn't bragging, unlike the other loser. He was very remorseful. He said he had been a horrible person and he had harmed so many people, especially kids, and he was really remorseful. And he was like reaching out to me because he thought maybe I could help him get out of where he was. And I said, dude, I don't have the power to do that. Like, I don't even come close to that. I said, that's on you. I don't even know if it's possible for you to leave there. I don't know if it's possible for you to leave there and to be in a good place. I don't know. And I said, I don't know who you could talk to other than to say a prayer and maybe confess all your sins and say, like, I was a horrible person, like, but I want to do better, and for a split second, I felt so bad for him, right? But here's the thing. So the irony is, at the very beginning, when he was first coming through, I was getting chills. And generally when I get chills like that before someone comes through, it's almost always negative. I don't think I've ever had chills like that when someone decent came through. So anyway, I'm telling this guy, maybe just pray, blah, blah, blah. This sick SOB started laughing. And it was my own stupidity. I should have known, So I shut that down, like, real quick. Just sickos, though, I'm telling you. Like, yeah. And let me just say, be nice to other people, because how you are in life is how you are in death. So you know what? Be nice to people. I'm saying this to you people out there that are nasty to people. Be nice to people, then you won't have to worry about being in hell or wherever it is for the rest of your life, Okay. So finally, I was able to get Janice to come through. She was immediately like, she's a little girl. She was like 7 or 8. She was immediately like scared. You could tell she was extremely scared and frightened. So I calmed her down and I told her, nobody's going to hurt you. We just want to get to the bottom of where you're buried. And, and so she immediately on her own started talking about what happened. Okay. So she was bicycling and she stopped and jumped off to go over and get the butterfly. All of a sudden she feels herself being grabbed and from behind, and she was kicking and screaming, and then he put his hand over her mouth. She was fighting as hard as she could. She said she felt something like hit her head really hard. She didn't know what it was, but it was like on, I think, the back. I think that's what she was showing me, like the back right side of her head. And you could see it was like bleeding, and there was a bad mark there. So you had to have hit her with something pretty substantial. But anyway, so she didn't remember anything else. And then all of a sudden she wakes up and she said she was in this dirty room. And it was really dirty and dusty. And she said there was like trash sitting everywhere. And there were like bricks and wood, I think is what she said, laying around. She saw like a saw. She went on to say she saw a couple tools, like a saw, hammer. And I mean, she was little, so she didn't really know much about tools. You know what I mean? Yeah, so she comes to, she sees all this. Her hands are tied and her feet are tied, and she has like something over her mouth. Okay. This really, like, it's hard when I can see, something happening to someone, because she was a child and there's nothing that I could do. I wasn't there, but it was really hard to see. She said that he was hurting her. She was screaming, and I could see he was raping her. and she was in like a lot of physical pain, like a lot of physical pain. Not only that, but she's just a little girl. Like she was scared and crying and yeah. Yeah. And then she said after that, she doesn't know anything. I asked her if she knew where she was buried, and she's buried near that building. She said she knows it's right near that building. So like what I was seeing, it's kind of like maybe like somebody's workshop, that does like woodworking or something. When she was describing it, that's kind of what I was seeing, like, a building located like in somebody's yard, and they do like woodworking in it. Yeah, because like on one end of the building inside, I could see like a table saw, like a jigsaw. There were a couple sanders laying there. There's a big long workbench, and then that ran across the wall, and then it was almost like a T. So right here against the wall was like a big long workbench, and then a workbench that came off of it. Like the workbench that went across the wall was probably 12 feet long. The one coming off it was like 4 feet, and he had this machine sitting there. And I don't know what this machine is. I don't know what this machine is. It's some kind of machine. And like you could tell that like it has something to do with wood, obviously, because you could see all the like sawdust from where he must have been working on the wood there, putting the wood into the machine. It almost looks like you put the wood into the machine. There's like a little opening that you can adjust. Yeah, so I don't know what that is, but so that's what I was seeing. Like it was like a big building though. It wasn't like a shed. It wasn't like this one of those little sheds you can go by. This was like really big. I think it's made out of like what am I trying to say? The big huge bricks that are like gray, and they're here and here, and they bump up to each other, and so there's a square hole here and a square hole here, and they're about this deep and about this long. Yeah, that's what it's made out of. And it almost looks like one side of it almost looks like there's something wrong with like maybe like underneath, like under the foundation, to where it almost looks like it's tilting, like it's going to cave in or something. And I was thinking before like that it was like in somebody's yard, but for some reason I don't think it's in somebody's yard, because I feel like they're like businesses around it, like buildings that are businesses, like not necessarily around it, but like over from it a little ways. So I don't know, almost like a street with like, there's a woodworker here, and there's a mechanic, and there's a I don't know. I'm trying to describe it, but yeah. So anyway, she said she was buried right by this building. And from what I was seeing, it was like behind the building is where she was buried. And I feel like he dug pretty far down. I feel like he dug really far down. Now I'm able to see more. It's weird. It doesn't normally happen. By the time I get to this point in my videos, I'm usually done with the reading, but I feel like I can see it. He dug way deep, probably close to 10 foot. And it's like, really wide. It's like he put her down there, and then he threw a bag of something over her and then covered it up. Yeah, flattening the dirt down. And so I think maybe the reason why you wouldn't notice this area, like if you knew this building, you wouldn't really notice it, because further back on the property, Oh my gosh. Okay. Like I said, normally by the time I get to this point in the reading, I'm done with the connection and I can't really see what's going on. Well, I'm seeing everything now. And I was about to say the reason why you wouldn't notice this spot is because further back on the back part of the property, there were 4 other big holes that were dug. And now, oh my God, now I'm wondering if these are holes with other bodies. Because they're like the same size. I don't know, guys. Yeah, I'm continuing to see. Yeah, I don't know. All right, guys. Be nice, be kind, stay safe, stay at home, and be good. Be a good person, you know? I mean, you don't want to die and be in a horrible place the rest of your life. Like, just be nice, you know? Just be nice to people. It's easy, it's free, it doesn't cost anything. It only takes a second to be pleasant to somebody, you know? So, all right, guys, that about does it for me. Bye.